What is going on, everyone, and good Wednesday morning. We are live, going to be going live, obviously, this morning, like we usually do on Wednesdays, live trading, taking you guys through what I am doing as it happens. So, about 10 minutes before the market opens right now, and we're looking good. We got our good old pal BCTX up 100% solid. Was like my biggest swing I had the past couple of weeks. I scaled out about 60%. I have 400 shares left. Here it's sitting here. I had about 1,000 shares. I think I had maybe 1,100 shares, something like that. On my original swing with an average of 331. Yeah, it wasn't the best average I had been in on the prior run. I can go back and take a look at when that was. I was in it, I believe, yeah, back in here. I was in it for this, before this, from the fours, and I rebought as it started coming down through the fours and into the threes. I rebought BCTX. I sold some on this little pop here up over 425, and then I rebought. So I was in and out. This is probably going to be, depending on how today goes, probably will be my biggest, I guess, dollar winner stock-wise ever on this account, obviously. But that's just because, as my account grows, my sizing goes up, but I've also played it a couple times. So it kind of shows you the, scaling in, scaling out, scaling in, scaling out. And now we got the bigger run. I was looking for that press release. Here we go. Great news. It seems very substantial in terms of their breast cancer treatments. It's big. So we've seen crazy moves happen on stocks, with this type of news in the past. Pair the low float. It's setting up. So I like it a lot. Also, that's my swing, so we're going to be managing that, going through that one as time goes on, which is awesome. So BCTX, who knows? I'm leaving some on because we've been seeing, when the market opens, some crazy runs happen. So I'll pull up an example in 1 second. But other one is SLNO. I'm in for just a day trade. They had some news, an orphan drug, I guess, notice or whatever the news was. The reason why I took it was because MITO had the same exact news, different drugs, obviously, but the same exact news yesterday, and it went up like over 50%. So that's why I took SLNO. It's up now 30%. So I think it's going to make a potential run here a little bit, maybe 150 or so is a target I'm scaling out on the way up. So that's just a day trade that I have. I wouldn't really be buying it up here personally. We'll see what happens. Maybe it catches the market open, but I think BCTX is going to be where the attention's at. It's up 100%. We haven't seen too many 100% runners in pre-market in the past couple months, like at all. So BCTX being that up 100% already as it is, I think that's the attention, that's the focus today. So we'll see how that one plays out. My next target, to be honest, is $10 on BCTX. So we'll see how that plays out as we're watching SLNO, kind of sneaking up to my next target. But BCTX, the reason why I want to pull this one up, here's the chart. It's just it pushed up and it's just consolidating. It's consolidating all pre-market. My guess, my anticipation is the market's going to open. BCTX is going to pull back. Maybe it pulls back to 6. Maybe it pulls back just under 6. And then it runs. That's my guess. The opening flush, as we call it. And then it's going to run from there. If I had to guess what's going to happen, that's my guess. But, I'm already up 100%. Scaled a good chunk out. If it falls off and the momentum dies, I take the rest of my shares off and that's it. If it ends up coming back and running in the afternoon, it's no longer my trade, right? This was a swing trade, so I'm in. If it went up 20%, 30%, I'd be happy and I'd be taking my money. So it's up 100%. I can't complain, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Okay, this SLNO is kind of sneaking up there. Let's see. LCI near all-time bottom. Let's take a look. That's the same. It's a similar setup, right, to BCTX, right, where you're buying the thing nice and low. Yeah, 412 is a low. So this is one where I kind of like. Okay, so it could come down. We have even back here in 2018, we have a 333. So yeah, I would say if it goes under 4, I would probably wait to add it. Maybe until it comes down to the lower into the mid 3s potentially, because it has a low here down to 3. This is a good setup though. Similar idea. My only thing is that it may take some time. It might take some time to settle down. So it might be in this one for a little bit as it settles down here and finds a bottom. It looks like around the low 4s is where it's trying to find a bottom. But I like that idea. It's a similar kind of idea to BCTX. I was on that for like 2 months, right? In and out. So you throw it in the background. You're monitoring, you're watching it every day. You just check in. But for the most part, this is the same type of idea. We're getting back to the type of swings that love. I love these setups where I can identify what I like, do my due diligence ahead of time, start averaging in. I'm patient. I'm not going to sit here, and this doesn't need to go up today. It can do it next week, next month, right? I don't really care. It just kind of just being patient and giving myself some time, some patience on it. So I like these types of setups, bottom plays. If you've done your due diligence and you like to play, and you're at a bottom and you have previous history of spikes, you got, this play has 100% potential in it, right? Down from 4 to 8 puts you right here on the chart, right? That we've seen bigger moves. So this could be a great play. Let's see. So SLNO, let's take a peek. This SLNO is going too. It's kind of bottomed out, so I kind of like this one. It's just for a day trade today, but it could make a bigger move. We'll see what happens. But let's see. I'm looking really for this 135 to break up, and then if it breaks over 135, I think 150 could be a target. And if it really gets going, could go over 250 could be a decent area. 250 could be that gap fill. So we'll see if it gets really going. That would have to be some crazy volume when the market opens. So we'll see what happens. My SLNO is slowly, partially filling on the way up. So we'll see if we get over 135, then maybe 150 could be the next area to watch. If it hits, we'll see what happens. I don't know if I want to hold this one really into the market open and mess around. I'd rather just focus on BCTX, to be honest. SLNO finally been holding for 2. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, if you look at a similar idea, right, to BCTX, right, in a sense, where it had a similar setup, right, where the past couple months, it's been just kind of chilling down towards the lows, and it's kind of, hit the bottom a couple weeks or about a week and a half, 2 weeks back in the 90s, and now it's kind of grinding it back up, and now he got some news, and it's got range. So we'll see how much movement it gets at the open. But for me, it's just a day trade personally, but I haven't, looked into it much. I'm playing it off of the recent news. Also, funny one too, PIRS is one that I've been just kind of sitting on. It was short sell restricted yesterday, so it was down 2%, not that much, but we've been kind of in this downtrend, right? So I've been, if you guys watched the video last week, I got short squeezed. It was on this one, and I've got my average up to 316, so I'm about to go green on the play. I really want $3, and maybe I'm a little too greedy, so we'll see if we can get maybe $3 today. I'm going to move this down to 301. So if we get that, great. That's where I'm covering the rest of that down there. So it's 25 more cents from the current levels that we're at. I think we can get it. Maybe today, maybe not. Maybe tomorrow. But it's not short sell restricted, so I'd imagine shorts are going to hammer it. They didn't do the offering, which is I'm surprised. They still might, but they didn't do it yet. So we'll see if it ends up happening. I just don't want to hold a short that long, and it's a super cheap one in terms of interest. It's like 5% yearly interest rate, which is nothing. On a short, so I was fine holding this one for like a week is essentially what I'm doing. Let's take a look at BCTX to see if it's going to peak up. My guess is this is going to push up. It's at 650 right now. My guess is it pushes up. It's held up at 100% very nicely though. It's going to push up a little bit into the open, pull back hard at the open, right after the open, and then go. If it doesn't, we'll see what happens. If it just goes initially, then I would be cautious on that. Maybe it probably pulls back. So we'll see. I'm curious to see if they halt this one a lot too. This could be a halt play, super low float stock. I think this could be one of those that really sets things off. And it's crazy to be in it for a swing, but it could be one that really sets things off. If it does. So yeah, I'll pull up the stock that we kind of saw similar. Breast cancer news months back. GLSI, same thing. It has, I'm not saying it's going to do this, but it has this type of potential to it. Where GLSI was like a $5 stock, it opens up here at 15. So it was up 200% come the open. And then what ended up happening was it ran that day. It was like $15 in the morning, and then it went at the open, and then it went to 158 as the high of the day. Just insanity. So I kind of have in the back of my head, I'm hoping we get something like that for BCTX, but I'm going to be smart. If it dies out, we'll lock in gains and move on. I think this one's going to hold up quite well today, though. My guess. But we'll see. SLNO. I got some left, so we'll see. We'll hold that and see if this one catches today. I probably locked enough gains on this one anyway, so if it falls below my average, I probably would still be green on it as it is. SND on next one. We'll see. SNDL is one that I think I forget what I said. I probably have to go back and watch it. But someone commented on the video saying SNDL is not done. What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't think I ever said that SNDL is done. It lost steam after its initial run, right? After its crazy run, it lost steam, but it found some solid support here at the 200 SMA, and it's making a nice bounce off that 200 SMA. I would say if I'm looking at SNDL, target up to like this 135 area. It could be an area. It was a key area in the past, so we'll see how that holds up around 135, and then if it gets over that, who knows where it heads from there. But yeah, it kind of was one of the victims of that high growth kind of penny stock, kind of just everything kind of selling off from late March through now. Really, it was late February, but it bounced back a little bit in early March, mid-March. So we'll see. Let's take a look. BCTX. So we're going to see how this one plays out here at the open. This is where I'll be watching. Let's do that. Okay. Some support at like 625 area. I would say I wouldn't want to see it dropping below like 590, 575, because that's some of the pre-market lows off of the highs, right? But this is going to be fun to watch into the open. So let's see. My next target's up to $10, so I'm just going to be slowly scaling out. If it goes crazy, we'll see what happens though. All right, market is open. So my guess, right, is we're going to see a pullback at the open, and then we'll run. So let's see how it goes. So we're pulling back a little bit, but it's not really nothing meaningful. Here it goes. This is going to be a volatile one today. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is one that, hey, you better, if you're playing it up now, obviously as your risk is significant. There's a pull. So give it the first 5 minutes. Let's iron out the first 5 minutes, and then we'll see how it plays out after that. I think that's when we can get a better sense of the direction. But there's scalp city if you want it, right? On this one, buy dips, sell rips. It's like, that's what we're going to look at. So I would say, don't want to see it come below 6 too much. I don't know if it will. I don't think it's going to, I think it's going to have some significant strength here to stay above 6. But under 6, 590 area is the area to watch. Below that, below 6, if it holds. But the thing with the first 5 minutes, I would say, of the market open is that in the first 5 minutes of the market open, support resistance, they're key, but they're also like, it moves so fast. You can get it, like we can get a dip below 6 right now to like 550 or like even 575. It would just all of a sudden bounce right back up and be over 6 the next candle. So I'd be somewhat, more lenient and on support resistance in the first 5 minutes. And then after that, we'll really establish a better sense of what's going to be happening. Yeah, exactly. The first 5 minutes are unpredictable, especially on these crazy, top gainers. So give it a few minutes to iron out, and then we'll see where the direction is. Usually if it starts pushing up and slowly building up here into the mid 6s, upper 6s, well, all of a sudden you'll get like a blowout candle. The thing will go 7+, within seconds, it'll seem like, because it's got such a low float. So that's my guess. Well, we'll see. It's holding very well. I'm surprised. Here it goes. Look at that. Look at that candle. So it held the mid 650s very well, and now it's pushing. High of the day so far in the market since the market opened is 688. So we're right there. It's probably gonna do it. It's probably gonna push above it now. Here it is, 690. Here it goes. $7 is coming right now. Seller at $7. Level 2. We can see we have a decent sized seller at $7, relatively speaking, compared to other price points. So that's the key. Also, a whole psychological level. Whole numbers are going to be those areas to watch. We zoom out. We got to get back up over 7, and then 769 was the pre-market high. So over 769, and then the top is going to get blown off. Here it goes, over $7 now, up 120%. 120%. All right, let's go back. What is this? SLNL. What's happening with this guy? All right, it's still holding up. I would like to see that continue to build. That's at least my other position that I'm in. I might just put a trailing stop on it at this point. And it might hit my stop as it is. Let's just do that. I partially filled, so I'm gonna have 629 shares left. So I'll do that, and I'll do the stop at 125. I'll do that for now, and I'll just leave that, and I'll come back to it. If it hits, it hits. I already locked in gains. I'm not gonna be super focused on that one right now. All right, so BCTX hit over $7, and then the shorts seemed to seemingly attack it. So what you also get is with shorts, you sometimes you'll have that psychological level, right? You'll have that whole number, or you'll have an area of resistance, and you'll break that area. You'll go a couple cents, 1% or 2 over that area, and then it'll get hammered down, right? So you see a wick over that like $7. We saw 2 wicks over $7, and now it's getting pulled back. Now it's not, I wouldn't say a massive hammer down. I don't think that you're going to see shorts. I don't know. If I'm a short, I'm not touching this stock today, to be honest. And I have been somewhat short biased the past couple weeks, less now. I don't think I want to be short biased now. I've been burned a little bit on some short squeeze plays, right? So I don't want to mess with that. PIRS. PIRS is coming back down. It's back under 320 now, which is great. But I've been burned enough on the short side of things now because the market's heating up. So I don't want to be messing with that. Up 120%. We haven't seen too many plays like that, lately. So let me move this scanner over here to the market to 1 day to see what we have. Give it a second. This on the right-hand side, this will tell us the top gainers on the day. BCTX, number 1 gainer by far. This is where the attention's at today. I don't think that anywhere. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just doubt that we're going to see another stock catch the attention as much as we're going to see for BCTX. All right, SLNL, I'm going to move my stop up a little bit here. And we'll keep coming back to that one and moving the stop up a couple cents as it moves up. Ideally, hits the stop, we're out. We already locked in gains. So that's it on that one. But let's see. It's still building higher lows. We got some wickage, right? First few minutes, we have these kind of crazy wicks up and down. That'll iron itself out. We'll see less wicks up and down over the coming minutes as things kind of slow down a little bit in terms of volatility. But we're talking about in the first couple of minutes of trading. 14 million shares at the open. The next minute, 1.1. The next minute, 3.3, 2.9, 2.2 million. So we're seeing some significant volume for sure on this guy. It's already got 24 million shares traded. This is a stock, too, that we'll have to watch. If it goes over 100, over 200 million shares traded, then it's not something you want to mess with on the short side. That's what happened with PIRS. Now, PIRS didn't make the type of 100-something% this fast. It took a little bit longer. It was a little bit higher float stock, but still. So once you start getting over the 100 million, 200 million share traded, numbers, that's pretty substantial. That's some significant volume you don't really want to mess with too much. At least I don't. Look at this SLNL. Look at that. It's blowing up. Here we go. Move my stop just below VWAP. That's what we'll do. Slowly let that one push on up. Lock in gains. Ideally, holding VWAP here at the low, 130 area. That looks good, though. Anything else moving that I can see? At least that I've been watching. Let's see. Not really. PIRS came down to 317. I'm looking for $3. It's not short sale restricted today, which really all it means with short sale restriction is you can't short it. You have to short it on an uptick. You can't hammer the bid. So today you can. Yesterday you couldn't. If it was down 10% the prior day, the next day you can't do that, essentially. That's really all it means. It doesn't mean that a stock's not going to go down because it's short sale restricted. It just means that shorts will have a harder time hammering it down. Like today, they can hammer it down. This thing can go down 10%. Great. They hammer it. Tomorrow, they can't hammer it like that. It can still go down if we just see overall selling pressure right across bag holders and whatnot, right? So that's that. Let's see. I'm surprised how well how it hasn't halted, how it's not super volatile on BCTX. I think that's good. I like that. I prefer that rather than a stock that just spikes up, spikes down. It's halted up, halted down. That's just a pain because when you get something like that, it discourages traders because, okay, why am I in this anymore? If it's going to halt every 2 minutes, I don't want to be in this stock. So this has been pretty solid so far. But we'll see. Outside of that, CNST, I think it must be a buyout or merger or something like that. MITO, next top gainer, and it's not looking good. It's falling off. SLNO is, I guess, the next most interesting play. Had news this morning. Holding VWAP roughly right now here at this 130-ish. My stop is at 129 for now. It might get hit because it might fall below VWAP. I think MITO and SLNO are going to be similar because they had similar news. Orphan drug news. So we'll see how that plays out. As we're speaking, though, BCTX pulling back down to the 640. So, yeah, support on this guy will be down towards 6. Low 6 is 620-ish area. Seems like a good area of support. We had a couple dips down there in the pre-market. Below that, $6 and then $5.90. So we'll see if those hold up. But yeah, we're like 8 minutes into the open. So stuff gets ironed out, this will develop some support. See if it holds up in those areas. If it doesn't, we'll assess from there. I still have my 400 shares from, look at the average of 331, which is cool to see. But I want to see more. But if it doesn't, if it ends up fading off, it fades off. It is what it is. But it is the number one gainer. I think this is where the attention is at. I just don't think it's done personally. That's just me though. Let's see. Yeah, so I was swinging this one for a while. So in terms of my entry, how did I find it? It's a stock came up on my scan, a biotech stock. I was looking through penny stocks, small market cap stocks, super low market cap stock. I had been previously looking at it weeks ago, and I played it a couple times actually already. So it's one of the things that I found through a bunch of different ways. So I have videos on the playlist going over how do I find stocks to trade. So there's a bunch of different ways I find stocks. It's either through groups, it's either through social media or my own scans, right? Obviously, so I'll look through FinViz and I'll find stocks in my own scans. Now, I think I found this in a group, and then I eventually looked deeper into it, and I saw it on social media as well. Someone was talking about it on Twitter, and I looked into it. And so I didn't buy it, right? When you see someone talking about it on Twitter, you don't just buy it. You look into it. It pulled back. The market got really kind of boring for a lot of penny stocks. It got dead. And then I took an entry. I started buying it. I liked more that I saw. I saw they were in the breast cancer space. I knew what happened with GLSI, how it ran from like $5 to 158 on positive breast cancer news. I dove a little bit deeper. I like what I saw through some of their recent presentations. And then next thing you know, we get this nice PR. I really was looking for the PR. I wanted them to drop a PR. They hired a PR firm. That was, I think, a recent news. Out of the company, they hired a couple PR firms to work for them. And, here we go. Because at the end of the day, right, it comes down to when you get, your, I guess, numbers, and you get your research, when you get your, data out there, you want to do it in an effective way. And so it comes down to the headline and all these different things when it comes to these stocks. And if you don't have a good headline, if you don't have a good, way that you're displaying your news, no one's going to see it. And if no one can see it, you can't get your stock to move. You can't get attention on your stock. You can't get investors. You can't get all this stuff. You can't raise capital. So I would anticipate they probably raise capital at some point. I don't know. We'll see. But it's a super low float stock. The market cap, even as it is like 40 million, something like that, which is still nothing, massive. So look at that. SLNO is pushing up. We've got like a triple bottom here at 131. So I'm going to put my stop there now. Ideally, don't want to see it dropping below that level. That's our triple bottom. So I just ride it on up with a stop. And I have 629 shares, which is kind of random because I had scaled some out and I got like some partial fills where it like didn't fully fill me. So it sold, whatever, some of my shares. But I bought initially at like 128 was my average. And then I averaged down as it dipped down to like under 120. And I averaged down, and now we're riding it on up. So that one's nice. So day trade wise, this is like one of the day trades. I took another one. I'll talk about that one. Actually, I can talk about it right now. It's been kind of quiet. VTNR was my other day trade. Oh, wow. I could have made more on this one. But what I did was it started popping it up. It's been one. Look at the past 5 days. It got news a while back. It's been one of those runners. It's probably on its way down to some degree, maybe down to like 6, maybe even the 5s. I don't know how far down it's going to go. But it's been one of those that everyone kind of plays. Like if things are boring, people started playing it. And this morning, things were boring for a little bit of time, and people started playing it. So it popped on up, and I shorted it from like 850, and I shorted it down to like 820 something. So a few bucks, or a few, 20, 30 cents short on that. And that was it. And then it's coming down more. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but I just wanted to lock in gains pretty quick. It was just a day trade, so it wasn't anything that I wanted to hold very long. Especially on the short side, I try to be careful on how long I hold stuff like that. So that's that. Yeah, we'll see. This is interesting. We still don't really have much direction on this guy on BCTX. So we're seeing what happens. It's just kind of sitting in between the 6 and the 7 area, and we got to get a direction. Under 6, it probably falls off today. But if it gets back up over 7, this thing has more room. But yeah, when it comes to finding a stock like BCTX, this is what I love when it comes to the swings, right? It's patience that pays off, and you just you're just waiting for waiting for the move. I'm not trying to force 100% runners, right? Obviously, it's just kind of very simple process of finding a stock at a bottom, looking into what's going on behind the scenes in the company, right? So BCTX, the way I found it was when I started looking into it, I was like, okay, they haven't dropped any press releases. No one knows about this company. It's a tiny market cap, low float stock, and they're in the breast cancer space doing research on breast cancer. And what I saw looked pretty promising from some of their data. I was like, this is a monster in the making. So let's start accumulating some shares. And that's what we did. And it essentially goes the same way for any of my other swings. Now, every swing is different. These biotech plays, these breast cancer plays, cancer stocks in general, they're a lot more volatile, right? Positive news, crazy. Negative news, you can get killed, right? And offerings are very common as well. So there's the crazy risk, but there's also the crazy reward. Now, you're not going to see this happen on like a stock, for example, like VISL. I like that one as well, but that's also a little bit longer dated time horizon on that one. They have a bunch of product launches coming out this year. So that's like, okay, we start building in a slower mover. We're not looking for one PR to essentially send it to the moon. Now, could they have some crazy news and could it go? Yes. And that goes for any stock. If they get some big partnership, a buyout, Amazon, any big company, we in the press release, right? A deal, right? That can send a stock massive no matter what. But generally speaking, I'm not like in a stock for something like that generally. It's so most of my swings, some of them like this, I'm playing it for the press release for the spike, like BCTX. Other ones I'm playing for a little bit of a longer horizon kind of swing. And it's more of like an investment that, hey, if it spikes, I'm scaling out. I'm not looking to hold it for a year and kind of do the whole tax benefit thing. Hey, if it spikes up, I'm taking profits. And ideally, my target's X. If I get my target, I'm mostly out. If it keeps running, I'll put a trailing stop loss on it and ride it up. Generally, I still mostly swing trade, but I have been day trading quite a bit more. So look at this, BCTX up to 712. It got halted. Look at that. We were halted up, it looks like, on BCTX. So there it is. There's the first halt. But also at the same time, right, what do we see on this guy? It halted on a move in 1 minute from 655 to 712. So that's a pretty substantial move. So I understand that why it halted, right? Now we'll see what happens after the halt. It's going to be like a 5-minute halt generally. It's a 5-minute halt, and then we'll see what happens. So it says suspended right now. It just means it's halted up. So I would imagine this is probably going to push up over the highs of the market, so over the 717 immediately after the halt, and then the 769 is the high of the pre-market, which would be the bigger breakout. If we get over 769, this probably goes 8, 9. I would even say 10. We don't have much chart history here. If you look back to the left on the daily chart, look where we're at. We don't have history on this chart. There's like nothing. So this is where it comes down to psychological levels and whole numbers. So every dollar, every 25 cents, every kind of $5, that's roughly what we're looking at in terms of areas this is potentially going to get rejected at. So I think $10 is legitimate potential here. I think it is. We'll see if it catches. There's nothing else that's got enough attention on it. SLNO is the next one, I think, which I have a little trade on it here. I'm going to move my stop up to VWAP, I'll move this up to 134. As it pushes up, I just move my stop up. And that's how I'm going to play that one. But yeah, this one has potential too. So this one could be a solid play. Could it go 50, 100%? Yeah, sure. But BCTX still has the most attention. BCTX has the most volume traded, right, by far. And then SLNO is up to 16 million traded, which is pretty substantial. But BCTX is still up, has a lot more. And it's a higher price stock, which is a little more substantial too. So we'll see how this one plays out. This is looking pretty good. Stop is just getting pushed up. I'm moving the stop up. I want to lock in gains. Locking in gains. Let's see. ELYS. ELYS is another swing that I like a lot in the online gaming and gambling space. So this is a fun one that we get a nice press release. US BCTX is halted until 9:51, I believe. Okay. Eastern. So a couple more minutes. This is one that I like for a swing. I've been swinging this one a lot too for a while. But again, this one I have an average. I didn't have a good average, right? 2 weeks ago, it didn't look good. But now we're kind of grinding up. Look at this beautiful hit the bottom right here in the threes. I bought some in the threes. I had an average over 5 initially, but I got my average down to 437 roughly. And then and then pushed up. I took some profits up towards 5, and now I'm making just to lock in something. If it dipped back below, I'd add those back. That's kind of how I played BCTX. It pushed up, right? It was up some days 10%, 15, 20%. Okay, great. I'll take something off. And if it dips back below, I'll buy it again. So now ELYS, I will buy more, but I'm not buying more. My target would be I missed it. I was actually driving in the middle of the desert on this was Friday, and I missed the dip. I wanted 450-ish area would be my dip buy because that was a prior resistance. I had a line here, so and it dipped down to that level and recovered beautifully. So if I was going to get a dip add, that would be the area. It is what it is. I didn't get it. Not like a big worry. But if it does dip back down to 450, I'll buy more there. That's my plan for ELYS. Outside of that, I'm holding it and riding it up. I think we got a nice breakout of this downtrend. I'm looking for it to kind of, it's got to grind through. It's gonna have a lot of resistance up here in this 6 or this 5. From here, $5.50 to $6-7. It's got a lot of resistance to grind through. A lot of volume trade in here. But if it gets back there, then I think we can see $10 at some point. This is a longer term potential play. Although a nice PR could send it in one day. Ideally, right? That can happen for any stock. All right, look at this SLNO. We may be riding this bad boy for a while here. We got 150 was the hit. Let's move our stop to 139. Just making sure if this pulls back hard, we still lock in solid gains. Let's see if 150 breaks on SLNO. That's going to be fun. But right, BCTX halts. Literally, look what happens. BCTX halts. Where does everybody go? They go here. Now when BCTX opens back up, I wouldn't be surprised if this pulls back, right? That's kind of how you can see the shift, right? Now, okay, where is everyone at? We might see a pullback. 150 is also a pretty good, psychological level, right, to watch. Let's go back to BCTX and watch this guy. It's going to unhalt. It should unhalt in the next minute or two here. So we'll see. Thanks for showing CEI. Yeah, CEI has been good too. This was one that was hitting its lows, and I'm still in it. I'm riding it up. It got some attention yesterday. I think I scaled some out, or I bought an extra couple hundred, and I scaled some out yesterday over 70, like 70 cents or so is what I bought, because I bought some in the 60s or something. It's at roughly my average, roughly. But I think if we zoom back on out, right, we're still low. I think I want more on that one. Any news, it sends it. Look at this. Okay, BCTX just broke the pre-market highs. 775, it just broke pre-market highs. It's not halted yet. 776 was the number we hit. Okay, so look at that. So it opens up immediately, shoots up. This is what it took about 10 minutes. It took 15 minutes, and now it finally is seemingly looking for that explosion. So we'll see. This is where everyone's at now. It's where everyone is at. So we'll see. I think $10 is where I would like to see $10, and if it goes to 10, this who knows where everyone wants to send this one. We need a stock that goes 1,000%. We usually get them every couple months. We get a stock that goes 1,000% in a day, 2 days, maybe. I think BCTX has that potential. It has that GLSI potential. We'll see what happens. So I would imagine though they probably would do an offering at some point if this keeps up, right? Maybe not today, but I don't think they have an S3 on file. New highs hitting now. So let's see if it gets to 8. 8 should be. We'll see if we get 8 soon. Made 25% SLNO. Awesome. That's been good. Now see how BCTX hit 8, right? It's unhalted. It's pushing up. And now SLNO is pulling back a little bit, but it hit 150, so it makes sense. And we'll see if this one can break back over 150 now on SLNO. So $8 is what we hit on BCTX. We'll see if we can get more than that. I think we can. I'm not fully awake. This is so much emotion this early. Let's see. I bought BCTX. There you go. That's it. $8. This is nuts. This is the type of swing that is I love because no one's on it. You're not looking across social media and you don't have anybody going buy this stock. Now I'm buying. You look across. There was very few big kind of, I guess you call them pumpers, whatever you want to call them, on Twitter and across even stock with. There was not many eyes on BCTX, which is exactly why we're seeing it go 130% as of right now. if you have a lot of eyes on a stock, now, when I say eyes, if you have a lot of people who are buying a stock, right, what ends up happening is it pushes up, you get your initial kind of, everyone buys in, they get FOMO'd into it on the last kind of push-ups, because no one wants to buy it when it's red. Most people, human psychology, right, it's moving up, FOMO, I got to get in, right, I miss it, right? Then it pulls back down. Now your average is so much higher. Okay, let me average down. You bring your average down a little bit. The next chance the thing pops, the next piece of news, the next any opportunity to get out for break even or close to break even or for a slight profit, they do it. That's what most people will do, which holds back that movement. There just wasn't that much of that in BCTX because no one knew about the stock. There wasn't much of that in this stock, so which is why you're seeing it up over 100%. That's a pretty nasty candle. This might get halted down now. Pretty nasty red candle down. Let's see. So now I imagine if it's halted down, it's halted down. So let's see. It's halted down. I would imagine people go over to SLNL. Let's take a look at SLNL. So now BCTX halted down. Let's see if if SLNL regains any fire here. Maybe it holds that 140-ish, and we'll see how it plays from here. Let's see. Yeah, that's where we'll be watching SLNO while BCTX halted back on down. So it hit $8. It's going to be super volatile, so I'm not worried about the ups and downs. I don't even care. I've already locked in more than half, like 60% of my shares, I would say, from my swing. And so if I take the rest off at 5, at 6, it's still like 100% move, right? So roughly. So it's fine with me. But ideally, I want to make sure I'm here for a bigger move if we get it. We'll see if we do. All right, so yeah, there's that little green candle. So now we're getting a reversal here on SLNL. Look at that. As BCTX is halted and no one can trade it, that's where the volume was. Here's where the new volume is. SLNO, 24 million shares traded so far. This is actually going to end up being a nice day trade that I had. I think I'm half out of it roughly. So I'm just riding the second half up. That's it. Hit my stop, 100% VTX, 20%. That's awesome. That's the thing. Here's the way that I see it too, is if you can get in on stuff like that and just be patient, yeah, you might not get anything. It might be quiet for like 2 months, but if you can wait 2 months for a 30%, for 100%, sometimes more than 100% move, right? I think that's still worth my time, right? That's worth my time because people will wait a year to get 8 to 10%, right? Look at this. SLNO is hitting up new highs, 151. So while BCTX is not tradable, everyone's jumping here. And hey, we might even see the shift. That might be what happens. BCTX may pull back, may drop below 6, may kind of fade out volume-wise, and everyone may come to SLNO. And this thing could be the runner because now people are seeing, hey, BCTX up over 100%. This is only up 40%. Let me head over here and see if I can grab a good chunk of that move. So we'll see. This is kind of how you kind of see it going back and forth, with these runners each day. So June so far, starting off nice. Starting off June pretty nice. Meanwhile, PIRS, I'm just going to pull this one up, is slowly bleeding out. That would be, this is a funny one. So if you go back to that video on I got short squeezed, I have managed my way. I am now green on PIRS. If I want to take my profits here, I make 2 cents on whatever it is, 700 shares, 730 shares. I'm green on it. But I still want, I want more. I'm going to be greedy. Maybe it ends up squeezing me eventually, or they drop more news. I don't know. I doubt they do. So I want $3. That's what I want. $3, and then I'm out. I'll cover that short, and that's it. But it was a cheap one to borrow. CCIV is one that also I've been actually. I honestly missed it. I wanted to start buying some. Not CCIV. A couple weeks back in like a longer term account, but this has been pretty solid as well. Look at the past couple of days. This is really, yesterday was a great day. Hit up new highs this morning, 22.64. The daily on it looks really like nice. It's kind of curling back on up. we're seeing the surge back into the pennies. We're seeing the surge back into the high growth stuff that got beaten down for months. And so CCIV, I think, is a great long-term play personally. It's somewhat speculative, right, for right now, but I still think it's a great long-term idea. Let's see. SLNO is still struggling around that 150-ish. It got up over 150. Now it's got 153 as the high. Let's take a look at the daily chart on it. What do we have? Yeah, it's going to have a grind up through this 150 up to like 175 area. This is going to be a grind. If it gets over that, I mean, this could be nuts. Maybe $2. 183 is the 200 SMA. So it's up quite a bit. But it's going to have to grind its way. It's a higher float stock, I believe, as well. So it's going to have to grind its way. Let me look it up on the side. SLNO is, I have it pulled up, is 62 million float. So it's a thicker stock. It's a slower mover. It's not going to be making the halt up and down like BCTX unless you got, unless you got 5, 6, 7 million volume in 1 minute. Shares traded wise. That's probably what you're looking at. BCTX should resume any second, I think. Let's see what happens. Roughly should be resuming. Here it is. It's back open. So 660s now. It's in. Let's see if it gets a bounce. Let's see if it bounces back up over $7. We'll see. But yeah, it's got some good support, I would say, down towards 6 in the low 6s. I don't know if it'll drop below there. I think it's going to hold up, especially being the number one gainer. It's where the attention's at. But if it does, and then it may pass the torch on to SLNO, and SLNO may be the one that ends up pushing on up. SLNO is at 150. It's still kind of hovering in that area. You want to see it kind of grind its way through, get back up to 153, 155, and then we get a nice move on that one. Let's see. BCTX VWAP is sitting here at just under $7, so it's got to get back over $7. You'd like to see that, but still, I guess when you broaden things out, take a step back, we can look at what was the play from yesterday? Was it not OEG? We'll look at yesterday's runner. And then which one? I have it right here. Yesterday was, it was OEG. We can look at how that one shaped up over the day, because this BCTX, OEG hit new highs actually at the end of the day yesterday. So it could be a full day grinder, right? Now BCTX over $7. We're back over VWAP. If it holds over $7, that would be a nice, putting in holding a new support there. We'll see if it holds up. Let's look at OEG though. In the meantime, it's probably pulled back. It's pulled back quite a bit today, especially after that. Yeah, it's down 23%. So yes, but look at OEG yesterday. We saw similar moves. Where it pulled back a little bit after the open, about 10, 15 minutes in. It pushed up, hit a new high, which is what BCTX just did. Then it pulled back down, but put in a higher low. Pulled back down. It didn't put in a higher low here, but it still held up roughly, here over 550. And throughout the day, it pretty much hugged VWAP, but slowly putting in, higher lows roughly throughout the day, higher highs, and it held up so well that come the end of the day, when the volume surge came back in towards power hour, the last hour of the day, it got enough volume, got enough attention to make a new high. It hit 826. So that was a crazy move on OEG. But we could see something like that for SLNO, for BCTX today, the two top plays. Meanwhile, SLNO is back up towards its highs, hit a new high of 154. So I got to keep moving my stop on up as I speak. And then BCTX still holding up over $7. So we're seeing some good. This has been some good movements this week. Yesterday, I actually got screwed on OEG in the pre-market. I think I tried to take it short, and then I was like, no, I'm going long, and then I ended up flipping long on it, and I ended up making a good chunk of change on it for just a day trade. But I missed. I didn't even hold it much past like the first few minutes of the market open. I didn't hold it for the bigger move that we saw. So we'll see. SLNO now is pushing up 156, 150. Look at that. That's pushing up. Let's see. I'm going to put a stop. I'm going to put my stop here. So VWAP should be coming up as we speak. It's probably going to pull back to VWAP at some point, would be my guess. This white line is VWAP, volume weighted average price. It's probably going to pull back to VWAP, but VWAP is going to keep moving up, right? As the stock moves up, as volume comes in, this is going to move up. So VWAP will probably be, I don't know, maybe that touch of VWAP it comes back down to like 150-ish. 150 was a resistance, so maybe 150 is your new support here in SLNO. Would like to see 150 hold on a pullback. It's at hit 158 now, so we'll see. It's gonna have a grind though from up to 175, and then we have the 200 SMA at 183. So we got some stuff to grind through, but it's got range. Gap fill up to like $2, over $2 will be the gap fill on the daily chart. Pull up the daily chart again. Here's the gap fill. Would be up here towards 250. That would be nuts if we see that, but it's possible. Certainly possible. Back and forth to BCTX. I could honestly probably pull up both of them if I wanted to on a double box. Could do that, but we'll go back and forth. Meanwhile, AMC, what is AMC looking at? AMC is at 41. That's nuts. That's crazy. The AMC cult. That is nuts. Wow. Okay. So these two are looking good. They're looking really good. Look at this. Look at this extension. Look at this beautiful, it hit that first push up, pulled back, made that little U-shaped recovery, hit a new high, and then blew up after the open, right? When the volume came in. 34 million shares traded on SLNO. BCTX is actually pushing up. We might have been halted up. Are we halted up? We are halted up, I think. Okay, BCTX halted up again at 768. I'd imagine after this halt, which I mean, okay, you're seeing a bunch of halts, good and bad, right? You don't want to see too many, ideally. Now we're not seeing them back to back. Like if we see a halt up, halt down, halt up within seconds of it opening up, that's not ideal in terms of traders focus. If it takes a couple minutes after a halt, that's fine, generally. But what was I going to say? I forgot. SLNL is probably where the attention is going to be at now, as BTCX is halted up. But this needs a pullback. SLNO needs a pullback, which is fine. It needs one. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my stop under VWAP here. If VWAP is sitting at 144, as it pushes up, it will continue to rise. So my stop is at 144 roughly right now. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to come down that low. That would be like a 13-cent drop, which I doubt is going to happen, in the next minute. So I think this is going to push it up further as we see BCTX halted. So have friends in the AMC cult. I'm happy they're making money, but never want to hear them diamond hands. Yes, that's the thing. I have nothing against it. That's awesome, right? Nothing against it. And AMC is doing what they should be doing. They are raising capital. They're really, taking this attention and they're using it wisely, because now AMC's going to have so much money, right? They can do 1 million offerings if they want to, and then the people will still buy the stock. They're going to have so much money that they can go and acquire this. They can go buy that. They can upgrade everything. They can do all this stuff, right? So that they can make, their theaters the best, or they can pivot in a different direction or expand the model, expand the business model, right? And they can do whatever they want. So, they're smart, and whether they're not going bankrupt anytime soon, right? That was a risk a couple months back. They're not now. So, all right, SLNO is at oh my gosh, it's at 160s now. Look at this. I might put my stop. I'm gonna put my stop at 149. I'll hit that 150. So we're really moving up that stop nicely. AMC shorts and puts. Yeah, the thing is, the only problem is I was thinking about it, and nothing, against those in the call, but I was thinking about it yesterday, and thank God I didn't do it, because it's up another 25% today. So I don't know when it's going to end though. But here's the thing: the AMC move is not all retail. It was initially. It probably was. It's not all retail. You're getting hedge funds who are saying, hey, if they want it to go to 500,000, is whatever the number that everyone's like, yeah, AMC to 500,000. They want it to go to 500,000. Sure, we'll sucker them in. We'll buy some. We'll make our 20%. We'll make our 50% on our couple $1 million that we're going to throw in. Then we'll pull it out. We'll pull the bids. We'll hammer the shorts. We'll short it, on leverage, right? Whatever. And they'll absolutely hammer it, because at some point, the retail traders run out of money, right? You can get a lot of people in, but once you've got millions of people in the stock who've already put in their $100, their $1,000, their $10,000, whatever the number is, once they're in, they don't have more money to keep adding in and get bailed out. They can get, they have more access to that money that they can get at, so you kind of see, right, how they can end it at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to be at some point. And when it ends, there's going to be a big time backside, because just as there was a massive amount to be made on the way up, there'll be a massive amount to be made on the way down. So that is going to be fun to see, but we'll see what happens when it happens. And usually that's the signal is when everybody and their grandmother is asking you how to buy, where to buy AMC or did you buy AMC? That's usually your signal to get out. Now on AMC, they've been saying that for a while, so it's kind of different, but it's how it was with crypto. A couple weeks ago, crypto was like, hey, how do I buy all these altcoins? Elon Musk, like all these like stupid coins, these stupid names, right? Elon coin, all these different things. And now it's like, they're all crashing, right? Bitcoin's pulled back. Bitcoin's is holding up in the mid 30s, I think, mid to upper 30,000s. Fine. That's still up massive on the year, right? Bitcoin may just, that's its new base for now. Fine. But all these coins, everyone's kind of seeing the behind the scenes. They're getting pumped. They're manipulated, all this stuff, which I don't mess with that stuff. I hold my crypto and I'm holding it long, and that's it. I'm earning interest on it, and that's it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. BCTX over 8. Can we get over 8? $8 resistance, and we're over 8. Look at that. We're over 8. 820 is the new high on BCTX. 827. Here we go. I have my target at 993. Can we get? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Halted up again. Oh my gosh. 858 halted on BCTX. Blew up. This is nuts. Meanwhile, SLNO, right, is like, it's like, hey, you can play BCTX for now. I mean, I will come over here, but we'll trade SLNO, and this thing keeps putting in higher lows. It's just grinding up. So I got my stop under 150. I might have to move that up again soon. The VWAP on this guy is at 147 roughly. So it's probably it needs a pullback at some point to VWAP, I think, but it's still very strong. CEI holding up 66. How's oil looking? Let's take a look. How is oil looking? Crude oil. Let's see. It's up a little bit, but I mean, again, on oil, roughly, my dad's keep going nuts on he has some BCTX. I was telling him to get some a while back, and he's like, what's going on? Okay, so we got, it's been uptrending nice. I mean, I'm just kind of chilling on my oil. I think CEI actually they have a if I pull up the site, Viking Energy, here it is. So Viking Energy Group, I think CEI owns 60-some%. This is the CEO of both CEI and Viking. His last update was on the 25th of May. He updates everything. So he said he's giving updates on their financial reporting because they were delayed because they had the acquisition or whatever, their processing of that. So all that stuff and auditing and everything. So he gives updates, and he said in this update, he's saying, hey, next update we'll be talking about some interesting, I guess, future plans, right, or whatever. So that's telling me, hey, they're going to drop a PR soon. He'll be talking about it at some point. I'm giving it time. When CEI drops a PR, we're in a hotter penny market right now. When CEI drops a PR, they'll be looking, this can go to 1 very easily. It's a tiny market cap play. It's a low float play. This thing can move. I'm just going to be chilling similar to BCTX. I'm chilling on my shares. I have a bad average, but I'm managing my way out of it, and I'm waiting for the bigger move. So if CEI comes back down under 60 cents or back to the low 60s, I don't think it's going to come back under 60, but if it comes into the low 60s, I'll be buying, 500 shares at a time or so roughly, right, is how I'm probably going to play it. I have 3,000 at 68 cent average. So I sold some yesterday over 70. I'll look to rebuy those shares if it does dip back down. If it's down 5-10% in a day, I'll buy more. Unless there's some driving news, right, obviously behind it. SLNO is pulling back. Let's see. It's probably going to pull back to VWAP, I would imagine. 150-ish or VWAP. So we'll see. We will see what happens. BCTX, when is it going to on halt? Let's see if I can find it. So it got halted at 10:10. So 10:15 Eastern should unhalt. Now, after a couple halts, they may halt it for like a 10 minute. They may do like a 10-minute halt, which you don't really want to. I mean, that's kind of it's good and bad. It's cool to be in a stock when it's halted up if you're long. We'll see. We'll see. One sec. Let's see. I would imagine this is going to open back up in a few minutes here, and it's probably going to make a run to 9, I would think. But at the same time, after 2 up halts, you may get it might calm down and down halt. So we'll see. But yeah, this is a crazy one, and it's interesting because we saw after that initial pop on the initial news, we really saw it just kind of just consolidated for so long. It just consolidated in this range, and it didn't make any it didn't really make a move right up or down. It tried to go up, then it got pulled back. Tried to go up, pull back, right? And so what it allowed for is maybe somebody big was loading up and they were trying to get in. So maybe that's what we saw. They were loading up shares, just like a market maker, just kind of grabbing more. And yeah, so here we are. Well, we'll see. SLNO, let's see. I might just pull this back really quick just in case it hits a VWAP. I don't want to get stopped out, ideally. If it still holds momentum. That's your VWAP pullback, though. 150 roughly will be, roughly around the VWAP as it is on SLNO. So if it wants to continue, I'd like to see it bouncing off of 150 and making a push back up, making kind of like a V shape or a U shape back on up, and eventually retest those highs. It's still up a lot. I mean, as it is, a 50% runner, that's pretty darn good. If you're in this one from a lot lower, make sure you're locking something in along the way. Obviously, we can still have higher targets, but for me, it's a day trade. So once I see the momentum kind of fade out, it cracks below VWAP, I'll be probably getting out, as my stop will take me out. All right, so BCTX is back up. It is 869 we just hit. Now it's pulling back. Let's see. It might halt down. I don't want to see it halt down like too fast. So let's see if it kind of just can slow down here. Let's slow the movement down and make a slower move or grind back up. Okay, hit $9. It hit $9 after the unhalt. Jeez. But you see though, whole numbers, right? We got halted at like 7. It hit 7, pulled back, hit 8, pulled back, hit 9 now, pulling back. We'd like to see it holding up roughly here over $8 so that we don't halt down. And because then you get, when you start halting up and down, left and right, you lose the focus. Let's see it slow down in terms of the halts and make if it pulls back, it could certainly need to pull back, but let's see it slow down so we don't get these halts. Let's see. Meanwhile, SLNO is bouncing back up, so there we go. We can move our stop back up to the 149. I'm holding 150 or so, roughly. We'll go back to BCTX. This is where the focus is at. So up 150. I think it's going to go up to 200% because it's up 159%. Yeah, it's going to go up 200%. It's going to hit 200% on the day. Let's see. Would it be stupid to get in? Yes. I mean. It could certainly go 10, 12, it could go 20, it can go 25. Who knows where BCTX goes today? But your risk reward here is insane compared to where it was, even just an hour ago or right, obviously, a couple of days ago. Let's see. So I don't want to say that I have my next target of $10, but if it doesn't hit. I don't care. I have such a low average, so I'm just having fun with it now. Let's see. My brothers are in it too. All right, SLNO is pushing back up. That looks really nice. We can put a stop. We can move our stop up in a little bit once it pushes up. Let's see. BCTX holding up nicely. It's slowing down, which is good. I like to see that. And we'll see how that holds up. Now $9, we'll have to clear it. Now we know, right? It can move $1 in a minute. In no time, right? We know it can do that. So it's within striking distance of a halt down or a halt up at any second. So the thing is too, if you're day trading the stock right now, right? If you're looking to day trade it, I would be looking at a larger picture view saying, hey, this might be like a legitimate 500%, 1,000% runner. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you're looking at it like that, maybe that's how you're going to look at it. If you're going to day trade it for like a short scalp, it's like you'll be sweating, you'll be, your suit will be wet, your hands will be shaking, like if you're looking at, because it's so volatile and it's such a low float and the volume is crazy. We're at 58 million volume. We're going to go, 100 plus million volume here in probably the first couple hours of the market up, not even the first, 2 hours, 3 hours of the market open. It's going to be over 100 million volume. At that point, that's a big play. That's not something you want to be messing with short, in my opinion. And it's also something you don't want to be messing with long because you're already up so much. So your downside is huge. That's why I love swings, because I don't have to be playing this one up here. And if I did play, let's say I wasn't in BCTX and I wanted to trade it up here, I'd be going very small share size, willing to lose, making sure I have a mental stop, or I would have a hard stop in place, because next thing you know, you get caught in a halt down, you can be down $1 on your shares, right? And if you have a lot of shares, that could hurt a lot, right? If you're not willing to take that type of loss. So let's see, SLNO might actually be losing some steam here, seemingly. But we're holding over VWAP. Over 150 is still solid for me, in my opinion, on SLNO. But a crazy move as it is for this guy, up over 50% on that play, off that news is good to see. All right, BCTX at 850. 850s are holding now, roughly. Any other action I can add to my swings? AMPG. These are always fun days too. Really, after a swing that I have runs like this, because I make quite a few dollars. And now I'm like, okay, this is a decent size into my account. Where do I put this money? Now I have my accounts larger, right? I can up my position size. So now I go and find my swings I still like. I add to them like tomorrow, right? Or on a red day. Market's a little bit green today, so not too many of my swings are down. And if they are down, they're down like 0.5% or 2%, which is like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But if we get a bigger pullback or a red day on some of them, that's where I'll take a lot of the profits and maybe start to spread them out across other plays. So that's just how I do it, and it's a lot of fun when the system is working like this, right? Ideally, what I've been doing lately is doing more day trades so that I can do that more often, where I can roll profits, from a week or from a month. I can start to roll that and increase my sizing on some swings a little bit sooner rather than later. I'm waiting for a swing to move, waiting for me to get out of a swing trade just to take those profits and roll, or even if it's a loss, to roll that into something else that I'm waiting on, adding to. So we'll see what happens now. Let's see if we can get up to that $10. I think that's just nuts to think about BCTX hitting $10, but hey, here we are. Let's see. Chat inventing new words. My average on BCTX is 331. And that's even high. I bought it under 3, sorry, a couple weeks back, because the thing is, I'll go back to the timeline. So I played it back in here. I think I was in it here like under 4 is where I initially got in. I was in it here when it made a run to like over 5 that was in April. Yeah. I took profits there. I wanted more at the time. I took profits there. It pulled back. So then I still had some, and I started buying it in the 3s. And then I bought it again in the 2s here, I think. And then I ended up selling some more when it came back up over this area right here. When it hit over 4, it hit over like 425 in the after hours. I remember my order hit on like a Friday afternoon. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I still had some. I'm just scaling out. It wasn't my full size. And then it dipped back down below, and I started to be buying some more. And there was one day where it dipped below 3. I bought some there. So my average was kind of like up and down. But it ended up being 331. So I had made some money on BCTX prior to this run. And now we're kind of looking crazy. Crazy moves. As it is. Let's take a look. What's AMC doing? Is it still holding up? Yeah, it's still holding up. Crazy move in the after hours yesterday and the pre-market hours this morning. From, closing at like $30 to now hitting 44 in the pre-market, and now at $40 holding up. UONE is moving a lot. UONE is going straight up. That's crazy. UONE, I got stuck on a short, and then I ended up going long and made a lot of the money back on it. Back in the time, I just missed. They had an 8K filing out. I missed it, and I was like, oh man, I didn't really know why it was pushing up. So I shorted it and I was like, oh, wait, probably not a good idea because they're looking to build a casino, which would be like $1 billion. I think it's like $1 billion potential market cap boost, like some crazy number. So this is a small market cap play. This would be a big boost for them. So I didn't mess with it. I don't know if it's running now off of new news. I don't think it is. It kind of grinded up yesterday. Now it's blowing up today. But now you're kind of seeing, we're kind of seeing though now, like everything, a lot of stuff is moving like, intraday. So look at this. SLNO comes down, hits 150, that area. Immediately, now we're looking at, let's go back to the 1 minute chart. Hits 150 just north of VWAP, and now boom, pops up. I'm going to move my stop up. At this point, if I get taken out here, I'm fine with that. I would just like to see it now holding up over the 160 area. And that would be a beautiful trade for me as it is from a 125 average. I'm looking to make sure that I lock in solid gains on this one. So my stop has moved up. If I get taken out and it runs from there, it is what it is. I'm fine with it though. We'll just focus on other stuff. So BCTX pulling back a little bit here. It's 820-ish. So we'll see. I still want to see if we get $10. I think we can get $10. I think the momentum's there, for sure. And I think we hit $9, so a psychological whole number right there. Okay, great. I think the next key area will be $10. So the question's going to be, at $10, if you blow, like if we get going towards 10 and it blows over 10, then at that point, this thing can go absolutely insane. I think the key is going to be 10. If it gets to 10, that would be like a 200% roughly, right, move or so. A little over that, I think, right? And then we'll see what happens from there. So we'll be waiting for it now. Other than that, my other play here is PIRS short that I'm still in. So I still want to see that come down to $3. It may not happen today. I'm just slowly writing it down for now. VISL had a nice day yesterday or 2 days ago at 250. Yeah, 250 back 250. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm looking for a lot more on that one, but a little bit longer time horizon on it, so no worries there. BCTX looks like it's kind of fading off a little bit, but VWAP is down here to 740, so it's got a lot of room to come down for a nice healthy pullback down to VWAP-ish. Would be nice, and then if it bounces from there, we'll see. 331 is sweet. Keep bumping up the stop and ride all day. Yeah. That's the idea. I don't currently have a stop on it because it's so volatile, so I don't want to get stopped out and have it run. So I'm just gonna taken off more than half my shares, 60-something% of my shares. So even if it pulls back down to like 6. I'm up like 100%. I'll be fine to take the rest off at 6 if I have to, right? If the volume fades out. So we'll see. I want to see $10 is really what I want to see if it gets there. We'll see if it gets there. Meanwhile, SLNO it did a nice little hit up to that resistance, held that area, that prior. Look at that, beautiful. Held the prior resistance as new support, or it's holding that as new support roughly now. We'll see if it wants to hold it right here in the low 160s. If it holds 160, that's holding the prior resistance as new support, and now it's not as I'm talking. So I got taken out at 159 stop. Now, if it holds VWAP, it's still looking okay. If it holds VWAP here at this 150 area, but 150 support on SLNO. So that was a good little trade. I'm curious on how much that actually was. I'll pull it up on my phone and just take a peek at how much that was. For a day trade, for a smaller size day trade, I wasn't stressing about that trade at all. It was just kind of like in the background, back burner, having fun. Let's see. Let me pull up today's the 2nd of June. We got June 2nd. We have SLNO as a $221 day trade. I had at one point a little over 1,000 shares. I took off half of that pretty quick for like a 5-10 cent gain, and then I let the rest ride for a bigger move. That's beautiful. With the swing that we got today for BCTX, I can't complain. I don't think I can complain about that. We're looking good. So let's see how BCTX holds up the rest of the day. It's coming down though. Maybe we get a VWAP touch here. It's coming down quite a bit, which is healthy still. Healthy public. Let's see if we hold up. Prior highs up here, halt around the 775. That's probably a decent support area to watch. 775. Under that looks like 750. Is VWAP. So those are the next areas of support to watch for BCTX to hold up. Meanwhile, as we're talking about this guy, my ELYS is kind of grinding on up, hitting some recent new high. Let's see. Past 5 days, yes, new highs. We're hitting 550. My next sell is at $6. Just kind of a slower grinder. I'm not looking to. That's not necessarily like a BCTX type of play. It's just a slow grinder, and it's doing well. It's a lower float stock, small market cap stock, so it's looking good. BCTX, here it is. Looks like it's bouncing beautifully off that 775, beautifully, and the 50-cent move from there now. So it looks like it wants to go for more. A very nice bounce. But yeah, with SL1O pulling back a little bit, still holding 150, which is good. Even UONE. UONE is up a lot, but UONE, I don't know if it's going to have the 100% potential. It could. I just don't know if it's going to have that because it doesn't have. I don't think it has news. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it has news unless I'm missing something. I got to look through the SEC filings because that screwed me last time. Let me pull it up on the side. Let's see. They got a, okay, they had a, let's see, we got disposed, someone sold, so, oh yeah, they had an insider selling shares. Okay, let me pull this up here. UONE on, I like to use openinsider.com to find these things, which are cool to see. So director, we have a filing of a director sold shares at $4.80. These are also filed after the fact, or you see these things after the fact. I forget how many days, maybe 30 or 60 days they have to get these filings in. On the first, though, we had a purchase from a director at $4.29 of over 1 million shares. That's pretty substantial. A 33% increase in shares. This guy sold 10% of his shares at $4.80. So, okay, nothing crazy, but it's moving up off of that. Okay, I guess, whatever. But then at the same time, there may be some. There's more going on behind the scenes too. All right, what else? SLNO is still holding that 150 pretty good, pretty well. So maybe I got stopped out a little too early. But I hit my stop hit at 159, so it's lower than where my stop was, so it was good, I guess. Might play SLNO at 150. That would be a good area if you had a stop. If I was gonna play it, I'd put a stop at like 147, 146. And buy it at 150. I already, I'm not going to do it now, I don't think, because I locked in solid gains on it. I want to stay green on that stock. But if I did it maybe like a 3-cent stop and you're looking for maybe like, 10, 15 cent gain, or just raise that stop as it goes. AEI holding above 4 high reward. Yes, I like that one. I don't have any, but I've wanted to buy it last week. I just never did because I was in too many swings. So my opportunity might be coming this week, right after this BCTX. If it does dip below 4, I like it a lot. Take a look at the recent range on it. Yeah, it's building too. It's kind of putting in higher lows, building. You got a gap fill up to like 6+. I think an easy move to, $5 is a pretty strong psychological area of resistance. Also, $5 would put you at, kind of an area of prior support. So I think $5 to $6 is a good target on AEI. Pretty nice risk reward there, I think. Yeah, so let's see. BCTX is back over 8, building its way back on up. Pulled a nice bounce here from that 775 area, building its way back on up. And then this is going to be a fun one just to watch. I mean, this is going to be a full day, I think, event on this guy because you're going to have your ups and downs, your volatility for sure, but seemingly like it wants to keep going higher lows, higher highs. We'll see. We will see what we get. I want to see, over $9 is probably going to halt. This may even halt right very soon, making them run from 8. If it goes up towards like 875, it probably halts pretty soon. I don't have a broker right now, or at least access to the halt codes. There are some brokers, I believe Trade Zero. I don't know exactly, but so you can get access to the halt codes and you can see when a stock could halt up and whatnot. Yeah, these streams are fun. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. These are fun because we get to see stuff live, right? If I'm in something, I'm talking through at least what I'm doing, and we get other people's feedback, and we get ideas and stuff, which is fun. Lots of fun. So we're above a lot of these indicators. I don't really use these SMAs or these MAs, the moving averages on the 1 day 1 minute chart. I don't use those, but the 50 sometimes holds up. That blue line sometimes is a good one to hold up as a support. The 50 SMA and the VWAP are at the same spot, so we got some strong support down here on BCTX at like 750 if it does come down to 750. So we'll see. Outside of that, though, UONE is at $12. Seems like it could be potentially. So got some support here, roughly at 12, like 1190. If it comes below that, 1160-ish. VWAP will be down there as well. So this could pull back. Could I dare take an attempt on a short? Yeah, but I'm not going to do that. I've already been burned in this one before, so I'm going to just not going to. And also right now is I'm probably going to be less. There'll be less shorting unless I see something that's absolutely a pump fest. I was thinking. Now this is a risky play. This is a risky idea. I'll pull it up here. ATOS is a short idea that I have because this is a stock that has no revenue at all, like none, but potential, right? Everyone's talking about their potential news, their this, their that. However, ATOS has a S3 on file, so they can do an offering. Let me pull it up just to confirm. And it's recent. I believe it's from April, if I'm not mistaken. They have a shelf registration on April 24th, 2021. Has not been used yet, to my knowledge, I believe, from what I looked at last. They have an S3 on file. They are known to offer. They are absolutely known to hammer with an offering. They will do it. I'm almost guaranteeing ATOS will do an offering. Whether they have news beforehand or not, they will do an offering. So the risk here is that if they drop news, it maybe makes a big run. However, my guess is if they drop news, it doesn't run that much. Look where ATOS is, right? Look at these prior spikes. Even when the things were the best, we had that, early 2021 run, December, January, February, hit up to 480, hit up to $5. So we're up at, so if I'm looking at this stock, I would potentially be averaging, let's take a look at the hard to bar rates. Hard to bar rate is 12%. That's not bad. That's not bad. I would be willing to swing it short, small share size for a good, for the offering. Literally playing this one for them to drop an offering. Now that's super risky, but it was an idea I had. If I do it, I might just dabble and see if I can make an extra couple $100 doing it. But it's a massive risk. I would not recommend it. But I can almost guarantee you, if you're going long here, if you're looking to go long here, I would not go long here. That's my take. There's going to be I looked on social media, a lot of people on this stock. There could be a lot of bag holders. So if it pulls back, it's not a stock I would like to be long at this point. Meanwhile, we got what's this guy doing? BCTX was popping a little bit, pulled back. Halt. Is it going to halt down? Wow, this is crazy. The volatility here is nuts. I mean, you're talking like 50-cent swings in like a matter of like a second. Everyone's waiting for FDA approval on their drug, which that's the thing. That's the risk. That's the risk. So you're risking if you're going to short it. If you're shorting it now, right? You're risking. Okay, that news comes out, and you get destroyed. They probably do an offering after that, though. I would imagine that's just the history of the stock. They've done so many offerings. They've taken advantage. They got a lot of cash though, so they don't need to do one potentially. But that's the risk. So that's your risk on that one. It's overextended on the daily chart. So I can see I wouldn't be going long up here. If you had it from a lower average, I think that's great. But that's my take on it. I've been watching it, and I traded it long. Months back, I traded it long from like sub $1. I missed the massive move. I took profits pretty fast, over $1. But I don't know. We'll see. It's an idea that I had. Maybe it plays out. Probably not going to do anything, because I don't really want to short right now in this market, these conditions. It's not really the best for shorts. So, it's an idea. If my thesis pans out, cool. I probably won't even act on it, but because there's other stuff I feel like that there's better risk reward at. So we'll see. So look at that. BCTX came down. Where did it hit? 750 support. Hit that support, which is good. We got a nice pullback. Didn't halt down. I like that. That's good. And then we'll see if it can now make a push back up over 8, back up to 9. We'll see if we get there. Depends on the news. The other thing too, though, is that everyone's anticipating the news, right? So that makes the news less, I guess, meaningful in a sense, to a degree, right? Not that it's meaningful for the company, but everyone ultimately, the fundamental value, well, that's something to be ironed out based on that news and what that could mean, right? So you can price that in, and that's obviously big. But if you get that, everyone gets the news it's the same thing as a buy the rumor, sell the news. Everyone seemingly, right, on ATOS is buying the rumor, right, which is running it up right now, which is great. So you're making money. But if you're in lower, just lock something in along the way, or move or stop. Do something to make sure you don't get killed if they do an offering, if the news doesn't come out, if the news is negative, if there's a slowdown, right? If something like that comes out, God forbid, at least you protect, you lock in some gains, and you can always rebuy. So if they do an offering, right, and the stock pulls back to like $3, $2, who knows where they do if they do an offering. If it pulls back, 25%, at least you locked in something, and now you can take those shares you locked in, take those profits, or take that money and rebuy it back lower and play it again, right? Ride it back on up. If your I guess if your conviction, right, if the fundamentals haven't changed, you still like it, that's what I do all the time with a lot of my stocks, which BCTX didn't have that set up because it didn't have as much attention on it, which is why we're seeing a massive move. But when you get a lot of attention, if you get news, many times you don't, unless the news is absolutely killer news, many times you don't actually see on the news a massive run. You get a nice pop, but depending upon the news, usually you don't see a massive run if it's somewhat expected. All right, SLNO pulled back. It's under rebop, so there you go. So that seemingly the momentum has faded out there on that guy. So that's that. Yeah, everything's kind of pulling back right now. If we look at UONE, even one that was pushing up, pulling back a little bit. Nothing crazy, but it's pulling back off the highs. EDRY, I'm not sure what's going on here. EDRY is a shipper, I believe. That's getting some attention on it right now. PEI is a REIT, I believe. Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust. REITs have been doing quite well with the reopenings and everything, so these are doing quite well. AHT is another one. IHT is a, I think, as well, or it's in the space. Yeah, it's a REIT. REITs are doing well. Outside of the REITs are pushing up right now. Outside of the REITs, a lot of other stocks are pulling back. So same as like BCTX is pulling back. SLNO is pulling back. A couple news plays. So we'll see. Yeah, we're kind of in this channel, right? We're in this rough. I think I can do that. I think I can draw a channel. Yeah, we can do that. Look at that. There you go. I didn't know I can do that. I haven't used that feature yet. But roughly, here you go. Here's your BCTX channel. That's fun. Now we can keep that in. So there's your channel, and we got to see a break up or down out of that channel. When I consider moving that, so my target, I'm looking for 10 really right now. Ideally, I still lock in a bunch. This is one that I'm kind of it's more of a feel. So we'll see if I feel like I'm fine with taking the rest of my shares off, at like $6. If it pulls back and it kind of fades out, I'm fine with that if it does, but I'm going to hold the rest for a potential bigger move. I think that it's setting up. The news was good. It's a low float stock. It's the number one gainer. This is where the attention is going to be at today, in my opinion, all day. I think this could be an all-day mover, and it potentially can make another push if it slows down midday. It can make a bigger push towards the after hours, similar to OEG yesterday, right? OEG. Back to OEG yesterday. Look at what it did. Pushed up and down choppiness, right? But it still, roughly held a nice trend throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, it pushed up. So I'm looking for something potentially like that on BCTX. If it doesn't want to go, right now, later, we'll see. That's just my thought on it, roughly. Because I've locked in, I've already locked in nice gains. If it pulls back, I'm fine with being up 100%. So I'm giving it more of a feel. Because these types of plays, I don't like using stops on these super volatile plays, because you'll get stopped out, and market makers can see your stop loss, right? They can see your stop, and they can, essentially kind of make sure to stop. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down below, like 750 seems like a solid support. Maybe it comes down to like 740, hits everyone's stop, and then rips it from there. They can mess with the stock like that. So I don't want to be, caught in something like that where I end up getting screwed. Not really screwed, but I end up, being in it and then hits my stop, I'm all out. Meanwhile, it makes another 100% move from here, you know, because it could, but at the same time, I'm not banking on that. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm using this as Webull. So there's a link in the pinned comment and description boxes, all my videos. If you want to get access to this stuff, you get free stocks in the process of getting in or signing up with $100. I use it all the time, so I promote them. But you know, there's other you don't have to use. You can other brokers you can use as well. Trade Zero will probably be my next best. If I don't have it, but if and when I probably will get another broker at some point. I have a couple. I have Fidelity. I have TD Ameritrade. I have, you know, M1 Finance is not like a good trading broker. It's more like a longer-term investing broker. What else? Robinhood. Everyone has a Robinhood account, right? I have some money in there. I have a bunch of brokers I don't really use. I use Webull for more of my active trades because Webull has 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. trading. Their customer service is the biggest negative, though. Customer service is the biggest negative on Webull. But other than that, I like it because I can get in and out at 4 a.m., you know, which is great. So sometimes I just have my good till canceled orders and they'll hit when I'm sleeping. And it's cool, right? I wake up, oh, those orders hit, great, you know. That's it. 775 bounce. It's looking pretty good right here on BCTX so far. It's bouncing nicely. And we can extend this this channel, I guess, right? Roughly. That's cool. That's cool. I haven't used that. But I like it though, how it's just kind of slowing down, holding up. It's holding up very nice. You know, we're not seeing a massive knife down and halt down and stuff. We probably are due for one. I can see it. I could probably have him if it falls below VWAP under 750. Yeah, we're probably going to get a pretty hard pullback because a lot of stops will be hit for the day traders and whatnot, and people who are, you know, bringing their stop up. But then we'll see if that's a short trap or, you know, maybe it's just a stop loss hunt and they pull it back up from there and they run it again. We'll see if we get it. Let's see. Yeah. UONE is pushing up for a little bit. So yeah, we're just kind of chilling now on what we got. So let's see. Anything else? VISL is up. AREC. AREC is nice. This one was nice. So far it's looking like a good bounce off the 200 SMA. So it seems like a pretty good entry point. I have an average of like pretty much right where we're at. I've been messing around buying and, you know, with some shares and buying some lower and selling a little bit on pops. But it seems like 200 SMA bounce is pretty good. That's been a pretty good bounce point. SNDL did the same exact thing. A bunch of stocks are doing very similar things off that 200 SMA. I think did OEG do some of the same thing? Yeah, look at that. OEG, look at this. 200 SMA bounce, and then that's where they got the news. So that's been a pretty good pattern lately on a lot of stocks that had been previous runners. That's been a pretty good pattern. Arrival, ARVL. I haven't looked into this one, but I have heard about it, I believe. Wow, this is one of those higher growth plays. It got crushed, and then it got, it's doing quite nice now. It's holding up on that 200 SMA roughly, so it's holding up over 18, 1750 area of support as well. Got to get over 20. It's got to get over and hold over $20, I would say, for a nice solid move back up. But let's see, we can probably draw on a downtrend, right? Roughly. Yeah, kind of. You can draw. There's probably multiple, I guess, ways you can draw this downtrend. A couple of these. Yeah, we're kind of I would say we're kind of at the point right here. So you want to see it get back up over 20 and hold over $20. That would be good. That would probably be a nice downtrend break. Back into the low 20s would be really nice on ARVL, I would think. Looks like a good setup for that. Although, right here, we're kind of at that resistance, so maybe we get a pull back in the meantime. If the market pulls back, maybe that's what we get, a pretty hard pull there, and that could be a good entry or a good add zone if you're looking to get in or you have a position. So that is that. Curling right now on BCTX. We're curling, this kind of channel. I mean, we could go up to the top of the channel and then pull back. we'll see, but we got to get back over $8, and then we're kind of towards the top of that channel roughly, and we want to see it holding over 8 for it to really confirm that it's breaking out of the channel, breaking out of this downtrending channel. But it moves fast, so maybe we get a fake out in one direction, then a move. But let's see. UONE is crushing it. UONE is going crazy, hitting up towards 13 now. Where did it hit back in a week or two ago, right? 2 weeks ago. It broke those highs. It hit up to over 11. Then it pulled back down to 739 or low 730s. And then it's up over 13, man. Wow. That's crazy. This is one that has a decent following on social media. It's gotten a lot of people who are like, yeah, price targets of $20, $25. But I think there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of that casino that they have in the works, right? Votes, in terms of votes to get it approved officially, right? So they're planning, I guess, to buy the rumor kind of. That could be a massive sell the news event down the road potentially, or doesn't get approved. That's a massive downside trade there as well. But in the meantime, it's making some strides for sure. BCTX is starting to, it's teasing that $8. It's getting some solid. I think if it goes over 8 here, it will probably make there it goes, over 8. Might make a nice move if it can get a clean break over 8. That's the top of that channel roughly. So let's see if it can. Here it goes. Trying to make a nice extension here. Trying. We'll see. What's the volume? We're at 83 million shares traded. This is going to be. This is one for the. This is a full day. This is a full day event on this guy. 825. Here we go. We're pushing up. Now we'll see if we can really. There's resistance up here. 850 and above is going to be some significant resistance on this guy. So if it can get up there, we'll see. The volume is ticking up a little bit. Last, we had a 300,000 candle. Now we have a 700,000. We'll see how this candle comes in. So far, it's at 300,000. We'll see. We got about half the minute so far in. SLNO is still under 150, but still up beautifully on the day. That could be if that one holds up roughly in the 140s. That one could be one to watch later in the day as well. SLNO. But yeah, the three players here are BCTX, UONE, and SLNO. So you'll be watching these bad boys all day, really, I guess, in the background. But a nice milestone. We'll see if BCTX goes 10 plus. The account will probably hit all nice all-time highs, and we'll be looking pretty. But we'll obviously in the meantime we're locking in gains, locking most of the gains. Coming to we're getting to so hit let's see where we hit up to 827-ish, 825. So okay, now we're looking again, right? Every quarter, every 25 cents, every 50 cents, whole dollars. Over 825 here, we probably go to 850. Over 850, 875, 9. Over 9, it can get explosive because that's the high of the day. So we'll see. Again, that also could be a fake out point. That's where shorts may try to hammer it down. Although I do not think, if I was a short, if I was not in BCTX, I would absolutely not short this one. Absolutely not. After seeing what GLSI did on breast cancer news, I believe, months ago, I would not mess with any positive breast cancer news. Dude, I would not mess with that stuff. That's just me on the short side of things if I wasn't in. Doesn't mean that, it's going to go higher because it's up 150%. So we'll see what happens. If it holds over 8, that would be ideal. Further continuation move up. VWAP down here towards 755. Some solid support, I would say, down there. If we do pull back, down back there. Solid support around 750. And we're just kind of stair-stepping up. This is where it's kind of nice, where it's calmed down. We're not at the open. We don't have that crazy volatility at the market open, but we're just kind of taking our stairs up. Okay, well, let's see. With that said, I'm probably gonna wrap things up here relatively soon, guys. Give it like 8 more minutes at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. my time. It's gotten a little bit quiet, but you gotta know the deal, right? At least what I'm looking at. and what I'm watching. So hopefully we get some more action in the meantime, but it's getting kind of quiet. It's getting kind of chilled. I'm not going to be taking any more trades. This is my swing that I'm in. I'm scaling out. I took 2 day trades, SL and O. We watched that live in the beginning. I was kind of in that one as we came on, and I wrote it up my stop along the way. And then I had a VTNR short from earlier this morning. Once, because it was popping up quite a bit, I just made a couple percent on that one, and that was it. I wasn't looking for anything crazy. Not shorting cancer research. Might hear you some good karma points too. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. It's really kind of just getting some in weird. It's just kind of chilling right here. It's really, we're gonna get a move up or down. A bigger candle is coming at some point. Will it be up? Will it be down? So the account's been just under 50,000, but I think that may be changing come this weekend. So update will be this Saturday. You go back to Saturday's video. I showed the account value and all that stuff. So we talked about that. I think it was like 40 something thousand, 46-ish thousand, I think, or 47 maybe. I don't know. Something around there was the last update. So that was where we were at. We'll see. I mean, we got to make some strides. If we're going to hit the 100K by September, I think 20th or something like that was when I started the 100K challenge. From 15,000 to 100,000 now in 1 year was the goal. If we're going to hit that, we got to make some strides here in June while it's hot, because I don't know how the summer is going to go. July, August, September might slow down. It might be hot, though, since we had a pretty slow period the past couple months. So maybe we're hot for the next few months. But we got to take advantage while we have the attention, while we have the market right now. Seemingly, right? So I'm going after, that's why I've been doing more day trades, making sure I can make a few bucks on the day trade side, still swinging stuff. So my swings are moving up in a hotter market. I do that nice. Swings are kind of holding the account up. And then the day trades are kind of like that icing on the cake. If I do well on a day trade or if I have a nice week, and they've been consistent. I'm not going in massive size. I'm upping the size slowly as time goes on. But for example, yesterday, day trade wise, up $300. I mean, if I can make $300 a couple of days a week, right? And then I have a couple swings that hit. The swings are, hundreds, a couple hundred to a couple $1,000 depending on the swing. BCTX is a couple $1,000 because of the extent of this one, up 100%. If my swing goes 30%, it's a couple $100, right? With the position size that I'm in, 10% of my portfolio is a max position size for one stock. BCTX was one of the larger ones, but it wasn't at that full 10%. It was probably up towards like 7%, I would say, roughly, of the portfolio. But now, after one of these, your size goes up. As your account goes up, you can size in larger on some other ones. So that's what we're doing. 50K resistance is the account. Yes, that's my account has some significant resistance at 50K. So we'll see if we can break through that this week and into next week. That will be the number. And now BCTX can single-handedly do that if it goes to $10. I will say that. If it doesn't, we're going to be at we'll see. Then it's going to be up to other stocks and day trades and slowly building our way back up through. But if BCTX goes to 10 plus, which it has the potential to do it today, we'll see. I'm not banking on it because we've already locked in gains and it could pull back here, and we got a great day as it is. But if it goes $10 plus, we will break that. I will be pretty certain that area will break and will probably hold above that level going forward. We'll see. Unless we get caught in an offering on something else, maybe then who knows. Now BZTX, I don't think we have an S3 on file. I'll pull up their filings. I don't think they do. BCTX does not have an S3 on file from what I'm seeing. So here it goes over that 825, 850 next level to watch. Oh, a little fake out. We're getting a fake out here. Look at that. Shorts hammered it. Look at that. Hammered it at that 825 break, and then it pulled back down to 8-ish. We'll see if the longs can pull back. So we're getting some. Now we're seeing the battle. We're starting to see a battle, and the volume is coming down. The volume is slowing down. So ideally, what you want to see is the volume stay up there. You want to see solid volume across each of these candles. But that was a fake out. So you see how you broke that resistance up around the 825. You broke it briefly, hit 837, and boom, hammered. Which that happens. Happens quite a lot in a lot of breakouts. You get those failed breakouts and things like that. So with that said, you guys know where I'm at. We're looking for 10 bucks on this thing. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. I'm riding it up, scaling out along the way. Could be a crazy mover, but outside of that, I'm going to wrap things up. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is awesome. S3 is what they file. Yeah, that's the shelf registration, whether they can then offer it whenever they want. So if you see an S3 on the SEC filings recently on a stock, and then you go back through their prior press releases and they haven't done an offering, they can do one. That's why ATOS can do one. PIRS can do one. They have an S3. So that's why you want to be cautious on the long side when you're holding overnight. Usually they don't do it during the day. They could do it during the day. Usually it's done in the pre-market or the after hour. So that's when you want to be cautious on some of those stocks. So that said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Successful morning here. And we're riding this. We'll kind of keep it on the back burner today. And we'll watch BCTX the rest of the day. Appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.